Hey Dodgers fans, things are getting really interesting. And if you thought the offseason was quiet, think again because we have some news that is shaking things up. It all starts with one of the most talked about international free agents this season. And let's just say his comments about the Dodgers have stirred up quite a reaction. Tatsuya Amami, one of the top pitchers available in free agency this year, recently gave an answer that has fans buzzing. When asked if he'd like to join the Dodgers, his response wasn't what most would have expected. Instead of expressing a desire to play alongside some of the team's biggest stars, he said that while he'd enjoy playing with Otani, Yamamoto, and Sasaki, what he really wants is the thrill of competing against them, the satisfaction of facing a team of their caliber, and the experience of taking them down. That's a statement that sends a lot of emotions in all directions because, honestly, it's both bold and respectful at the same time. Now, from a purely baseball perspective, there's no denying that adding Tatsuya Amami to the Dodgers roster would be incredible. He's a pitcher with the kind of talent that any team would dream of. And while the Dodgers may not have a desperate need for a starting pitcher given their current rotation, you can never have too many options at the top level, especially when you consider the synergy he could have with other Japanese players like Roki Sasaki, Shohei Otani, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That chemistry alone could elevate a team. But at the same time, you have to respect his approach because what he's really expressing is that he wants to challenge himself, not just join a team that's already dominant. And that, in a way, is a huge compliment to the Dodgers. It's proof that this team's reputation as a powerhouse is recognized not just domestically but internationally. It's fascinating because Tatsuya's comments highlight an important dynamic in professional sports. The respect that comes from wanting to compete against the best. He's not dismissing the Dodgers, far from it. He's acknowledging that they're a dynasty, a team that any player would measure themselves against. This kind of mentality, wanting to face the challenge rather than take an easy route, is exactly the type of mindset that makes free agency so compelling. It's a reminder that elite players don't just chase teams with talent. They chase the opportunity to prove themselves on the highest stage. And in Tatsuya's case, it seems clear that he wants to make his first season in Major League Baseball memorable by testing himself against some of the best players in the world. Looking at his stats, it's easy to see why there's so much excitement. Over the past season, he posted a 1.92 ERA across a notable number of games. And before that, his numbers were equally impressive, with ERAs of 2.4 and 2.5 in previous seasons. He's consistent, he's reliable, and he's exactly the kind of pitcher that teams like the Dodgers would be eager to add. But here's the twist. He also emphasized that he's not looking for a teammate from Japan just for comfort. He wants to experience the challenge of adapting, of facing cultural differences, and figuring things out on his own. That's a statement about personal growth, independence, and competitive spirit. It also subtly signals that his choice in free agency might not be influenced by who is already on the roster, which changes the equation for teams considering him. For the Dodgers, this could be a major advantage. With so many top-level pitchers already on the roster, adding Tatsuya might create redundancy in their rotation. But if he chooses to go elsewhere, it opens the door for the team to continue building strategically without worrying about balancing roster spots or overloading certain positions. Meanwhile, other teams that might have counted on his presence, like the Cubs, Red Sox, Padres, Mets, or Angels, could find themselves out of the running. Even the Giants might be impacted, depending on how things unfold. If his intention is truly to face challenges independently rather than gravitate toward a team with familiar faces, it reshapes the competitive landscape for the offseason, giving the Dodgers a subtle but meaningful edge in their roster planning. What makes this even more intriguing is the mental game aspect. The Dodgers are known for their strategic approach to building a championship-level team, and now you have a player openly stating that he wants to conquer them rather than join them. It adds a layer of motivation for everyone on the squad. When postseason matchups come around, seeing a top-tier talent like Tatsuya on the mound against the Dodgers could ignite some memorable games. From a fan perspective, it's exactly the kind of storyline that adds drama and excitement, because every pitch, every at-bat against a player with that kind of respect for your team becomes a personal challenge. You can imagine the intensity if this ends up being a World Series scenario. Shifting gears slightly, There's also some news regarding Shohei Otani and his plans for the next World Baseball Classic. As expected, Otani confirmed that he will represent Japan in the 2026 tournament, which gives fans plenty to talk about. Of course, his participation raises questions about how he'll be used. Will he be a starting pitcher? Will he play in the field? Or could he even take on a dual role? Projections for the Japanese roster are already creating debate. With pitchers like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Kodai Senga, Tatsuya Amami, and Shota Imanaga listed, Otani's potential role as a closer adds an unexpected twist. Even in the previous World Baseball Classic, his performance was pivotal, showcasing his versatility and ability to handle pressure. This naturally leads to speculation about how the Dodgers might approach his role next season. While it seems likely he'll continue as a starter, the possibility of experimenting with his position in the field or using him in relief at critical moments adds strategic intrigue. These developments, both with Tatsuya Amami's free agency stance and Otani's plans, are perfect examples of how complex roster management has become at the highest level of baseball. Teams aren't just competing on talent. They're competing on foresight, flexibility, and the ability to anticipate opponent strategies. Dodgers fans have plenty to be excited about, not just because of the players currently on the roster, but because of the ripple effect from international stars making bold statements and planning their next moves. Every comment, every announcement carries weight in shaping the narrative for the upcoming season, and it's fascinating to watch how it all unfolds. Continuing with the Dodgers story, Shohei Otani's role in the 2026 World Baseball Classic is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing aspects of international baseball for the next few years. The discussions around his position are far from straightforward. While Otani has been confirmed to play for Japan, the question of how exactly he will be used, whether as a starter, a closer, or an outfielder, creates layers of speculation that affect not only Team Japan, but also the Dodgers. His versatility is both a blessing and a challenge for managers, because he is one of those rare players whose skill set allows him to dominate from multiple angles. Teams have to decide whether to preserve him as a starting pitcher, where he can impact the game every fifth day, or leverage him in a closer role, where the pressure is concentrated but the stakes are highest. Every option has pros and cons, and that makes following his career even more fascinating for fans who are invested in both MLB and international competitions. Looking at the projected Japanese roster, it is clear that Otani's presence could redefine team dynamics. With established pitchers like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Kodai Senga, Tatsuya Amami, and Shota Imanaga, there is already depth and experience in the rotation, but Otani brings an entirely new level of unpredictability. Placing him in a closer role might seem unconventional, but it could give Japan an edge in high-pressure games where every out counts. Additionally, the possibility of him being used as a designated hitter or in the outfield adds strategic flexibility that could confuse opponents who are trying to anticipate Japan's lineup. For the Dodgers, observing how Otani performs in these varied roles will be fascinating because it may influence their approach next season. If he excels as a closer in high-stakes situations, there's a chance the Dodgers could experiment with using him in similar high-leverage moments during the regular season or playoffs, which could give them a tactical advantage other teams might not expect. This creates a broader narrative about how elite players are managed. It's no longer just about their stats or raw talent. It's about adaptability, decision-making, and the ability to thrive in multiple roles. Otani exemplifies this perfectly. His experience in MLB, combined with his international exposure, makes him a unique asset. For fans, it's thrilling to imagine scenarios where Otani faces former teammates or opponents he has challenged internationally, because it adds layers of storylines that go beyond a simple game. The Dodgers, already stacked with talent, now have to consider how to integrate such a versatile player without compromising their rotation or batting lineup. That balance between maximizing talent and maintaining team structure is what separates championship-caliber teams from the rest, and it's why watching Otani's path is so compelling. Meanwhile, the conversation around Tatsuya Amami continues to ripple through the baseball world. His comments about wanting to face the Dodgers rather than join them have implications beyond just roster strategy. It's a psychological factor that can influence games and rivalries throughout the season. Imagine him on the mound against the Dodgers in a crucial series, the same way teams like the Yankees or Blue Jays have historically served as measuring sticks for excellence. There's an extra layer of intensity when a player is motivated by the desire to prove themselves against a dominant team. The Dodgers are aware of this, and while it's not something that will disrupt their plans, it's definitely a storyline they'll keep in mind as they prepare for the postseason. It's the kind of competitive spirit that can elevate the excitement for fans and create memorable moments on the field. Adding to the intrigue is how these international players approach Major League Baseball. Tatsuya's emphasis on independence and facing challenges alone speaks to a mindset that is increasingly common among top athletes. They're not just seeking to join successful teams. They're seeking to test themselves, to experience growth, and to define their careers on their own terms. This creates a fascinating dynamic for teams like the Dodgers, who must navigate not only talent acquisition, but also player psychology, ensuring that every addition aligns with the team's goals and culture. It's a subtle but critical aspect of roster management that goes beyond scouting reports and stats. Understanding a player's mindset, their motivations, and their approach to competition can be just as important as their on-field abilities. For the Dodgers, this means that every decision in the offseason carries weight. While Tatsuya Amami might not end up on their roster, the fact that he has publicly recognized their dominance reinforces the team's reputation and motivates both current players and future targets. When other top free agents see that the Dodgers are a team worth competing against, it enhances the franchise's stature and could influence negotiations and interest in joining the team in the future. It's a reminder that in professional sports, perception matters just as much as performance. Every headline, every comment, every reported desire from a player can shape the competitive landscape. Looking at the broader picture, the Dodgers are in a position of strength, but also of challenge. They are a team that other organizations measure themselves against, which means every move they make is under scrutiny. Adding international talent like Otani or negotiating with top pitchers like Amami is not just about the immediate impact. It's about long-term strategy, maintaining dominance, and preparing for postseason battles. The offseason becomes a chessboard where every decision affects multiple games, series, and even potential World Series matchups. Fans following these stories can see the layers of strategy unfold, from projected rotations to potential lineups, and from player roles in international competitions to how they might translate those experiences back to MLB. Otani's participation in the World Baseball Classic is also a chance to see him refine and expand his skill set. Facing elite competition from around the world provides experience that can translate directly into the Major League season. The Dodgers are likely monitoring his performance closely, not just for individual stats, but for insight into how he handles pressure, adjusts to different lineups, and executes in critical moments. That experience can influence how the team uses him next season, particularly in high-stakes games. It's a fascinating intersection of international and domestic baseball, where what happens in Japan or the Classic can have a direct effect on how the Dodgers strategize, plan, and compete in MLB. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Rumors are swirling through Major League Baseball like wildfire, and if they turn out to be true, the sport could be on the brink of one of the most jaw-dropping moves in recent memory. Sources close to the game are claiming that Ronald Acuña Jr., one of the brightest young stars in the league, has agreed to terms with the Los Angeles Dodgers. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the buzz alone is enough to set fans' imaginations racing. Acuna Jr., known for his explosive speed, incredible power, and infectious charisma on the field, would bring a new dimension to an already formidable Dodgers lineup. The whispers suggest that the front office in Los Angeles has been quietly working behind the scenes for months, orchestrating what insiders are calling a potential super lineup that could redefine dominance in the National League. Imagine a roster where Acuna Jr. slots in alongside some of the biggest names in the game, creating a batting order that could terrorize pitching staffs across the country. The speculation has ignited discussions not just among fans, but across media outlets and clubhouse chatter. Some analysts are already picturing Acuna Jr. stealing bases at will while launching mammoth home runs, all while the Dodgers' pitching rotation does what it does best. The mere possibility of this move has been enough to dominate sports talk, social media threads, and highlight reels, with fans debating how the team chemistry might shift and whether the Dodgers could be entering an era of unprecedented offensive firepower. Of course, rumors like these are nothing new in baseball's off-season ecosystem, but the credibility of the source has many insiders leaning toward believing there's substance behind the story. Acuna Jr. has been linked with other teams in the past, yet the Dodgers' connection seems particularly tantalizing given their recent investment in high-profile talent. The idea of combining his talent with the existing Dodgers roster has sparked dreams of historic moments and record-breaking runs, sending a ripple of excitement throughout the league. For now, the baseball world waits with bated breath, keeping an eye on every tweet, press conference, and insider tip. If even half of this rumor proves true, the Dodgers may be on the verge of assembling a lineup that will be talked about for decades. One thing is certain. The MLB offseason just got a lot more interesting, and fans are already imagining the fireworks that could come with Ronald Acuña Jr. stepping onto the Dodgers diamond. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.